Hi winners, and welcome to something called Life is Short. That's another text adventure game. I tend to do those on Tuesdays. So Life is Short looked pretty interesting. So let's see. Again, free to play. I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to check it out yourselves. If I don't explore every option they might provide or anything like that, you guys can see what the other half of the story is. But it's 5 a.m. and you've woken for work. You don't have to be in until 9 a.m. I would guess. But you have a commute and you like to give yourself time to get ready in a stress-free environment. Press C to drink coffee, D to get dressed, and I to browse the internet. I'm gonna get dressed first. If it lets me. There we go. You put your clothes on carefully, in a strict order you've determined. In the sock or underwear debate, you are socks first. Of course, there's no question as to whether pants come before or after socks. Never pants before socks. Press R to return. All right. So now I can drink coffee. Let's do it. The coffee is a middle-of-the-road French blend. You only really use the coffee as fuel. So the taste has never been a concern for you. And even now, in your success, there's still that spendthrift part of you that refuses to pay out of the ass for burnt beans. Press R to return. And then now I can browse the internet, so let's do it. You browse Facebook for a few minutes before you notice that Heather has changed her status to in a relationship. You feel as though you might vomit and jam the button of the monitor with your thumb. Press R to return. Oh no. I hope Heather's not our current girlfriend, because this will be awkward. Looks like you're ready to go. No use standing around. You can afford to go in a little early anyways. Press C to go to the car. Let's do it. Also, if there's music playing during the video, which most likely there will be because I'll put it in, it's going to be from me. It's going to be from royalty free. I'll put links in the description to the songs, but this is not playing any music, so you guys know. You make your way out onto the interstate and roll your windows down. You know your hair is going to look a mess, but it feels so good, you don't even care. You open your eyes, not having realized you'd ever close them, to see an overturned SUV sitting in your lane. Press L to swerve left or R to swerve right and F to freeze. Well, I don't want to freeze. It's in my lane. But if I swerve left, there'll be oncoming traffic. So let's swerve right. It's going to be a ditch. Fuck. Swerve right. You narrowly miss the SUV in the road. You're almost relieved when you notice the line of trees on the far side of the shoulder. The world goes black. Press R to return. So I hit trees. You cannot return. The world is black. Press space to try again. No, I died! Okay, so let me do this again. So maybe I'll just go through every single one. Let's swerve left. You jerk your steering wheel to the left and slam on your brakes. Your car smashes into the median and the world goes black. Press R to return. Cannot return. The world is black. Fuck. And I'm gonna just freeze, I guess. You don't have time to process the information in front of you. Your thoughts are so frenzied. You can hardly hold one down. You don't need to. The world goes black. Press R to return. Oh, that's hard. And I can't because wow. Life is short and this game was short. Shit. Maybe I'll put it with something else, but wow. That was sad. Sorry, guys. Very, very short. I wish it was a little longer. Maybe it had more of our morning in the beginning. Gets me a little more like, what the fuck, I died? Because right now I'm just like, oh, that's sad. Wish I had more options. Maybe there'd be a way to escape this death, but then there's even more I have to keep going through. Like life is just out for this person, like Final Destination style. But yeah, that was Life is Short. So if I find something to put it with, that'll be right after this. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next game that I play. Hi winners, and welcome to a game called Thanks for Your Time. This is free to play or interact with. Put a link in the description if you guys want to check it out. This is probably going to be paired with another game I just played that was like 3 minutes. So I'm interested to see how long this one is. But it sounded sad, so I have a feeling it might be sad. So let's just see how it goes. This one's more Twine based, so I actually can click on the words instead of pressing letters or numbers. Also, it is just automatically the web browser. So when I give you guys the link down in the description, it'll just bring you straight to the game. Let's do it. Thanks for your time. This isn't how it was supposed to go. You know how much Jacob worries about his younger brother. You were only trying to do something nice for him. Jacob he was supposed to be overjoyed at the news that Austin was coming home. He was supposed to be impressed with the initiative you've taken to see that his brother got back to Havenwood safe and sound. Once he'd seen how much time and effort you put into reuniting him and Austin, Jacob would understand that you would do anything for him. He'd understand that no one else has ever cared about him as much as you do. You were certain that as soon as he heard, can I read? That'd be great. As soon as he heard the news, he would start to fall in love with your selflessness, your perseverance in going after a goal that he had deemed impossible. I think it's supposed to be deemed. That's okay. Also, there's no music, so if there is added music, I have added it. And again, links are in the description. So, fall in love. But it didn't go the way it was supposed to. You're not completely certain what happened. Awkward. One moment, Jacob was telling you to get out of his office, that you shouldn't have stepped in to bring Austin home. And the next, well, you just stabbed him. What? Okay, I wasn't expecting this. You just stabbed him? Why did we stab him? The knife had been a last resort, really. You brought it expecting it? At least, you think so anyway. You can't recall just why you decided to bring it in the first place. You can't even recall if you knew you had it. But suddenly it was in your hands, and then suddenly it was in Jacob's stomach. What is happening? What? But bygones be bygones, and all that. The flowers you brought with you are starting to look a little wilted, even though you just brought them this morning. It's this blasted humidity. It's almost tangible in the air, seeping into everything. It even forced you to drive with the windows down and roll the sleeves of your shirt up past the elbow. You check your reflection in the tinted window of the car next to yours in the parking lot. Flatten down your hair and with one hand. It won't do for Jacob to see you so frazzled. Are we back in time? He's likely still upset with you. What? Wait, so this is after we stabbed? But time, as they say, heals all wounds, especially stab wounds that didn't puncture any major organs. There we go. Not to mention that Austin should still be en route to Havenwood, and his arrival should provide an convenient distraction for Jacob and the rest of the department while you lie low for a bit. That isn't to say you're giving up. Quite the opposite, in fact. You're certain that once Austin is here, and he's out of the hospital, Jacob will agree that you know what's best for him. That's really creepy. You rub a hand over your chin, feeling the stubble beneath it. Oh, it's unseemly. When was the last time you shaved? When was the last time you changed your clothes? It's unacceptable that you would come to see a man you're in love with without changing your clothes first. Are there really tiny droplets of blood on your shirt? Or are your eyes playing tricks on you? Well, no matter. It's too late to go home and change now. Is this like we're still in the same clothes? You'll only have so much time to talk to Jacob anyhow. You step through the automatic doors to the hospital lobby as they slide out of your way, squeaking in the way that suggests they haven't had proper maintenance in years. The woman behind the desk doesn't look particularly alarmed to see you approach, but her eyes do widen a little as you flash your badge at her. Far too briefly for her to read anything but DPR. If you were in any other city but Havenwood, perhaps you'd be more careful who you showed that to. But most Havenwood residents know, at least, that the department exists. It's hard to stay ignorant when you live in a place so inundated with supernatural crime. I need a visitor badge, you tell the woman behind the desk. I need to interview a patient for a case I'm working on. Which patient, she asks, typing away at her computer. Jacob Jones. And your name? Austin Winters, you say without hesitation. said the Austin that's coming. It won't be much of a misdirect once Jacob finally opens up about what happened, but it will do for now. Keep them on their toes. The woman behind the desk prints out a visitor badge without comment and writes Jacob's room number on a slip of paper so you know where to go. It's 4 floors up from where you are now. Your heart hammers in your chest as you stand inside the elevator, feeling it rise slowly, taking you closer to Jacob. You can't help but wonder what he'll do when he sees you. Will he even be conscious? As romantic as it would be, as much as it would let him know how deeply you care, you can't afford to sit by his bedside until he wakes up. If he's sleeping, you decide, you'll just leave the flowers. You'll pen a note to go with them, so he knows exactly who they're from. The elevator grinds to a halt at the 4th floor. The doors open, and you step out. Jacob's room is only a few doors down the hallway. Not hard to find at all. It's a private room, as you were expecting. You didn't think they would make the president of the Department of Paranormal Research share a room with some civilian. If Jacob had been... I feel like there's a backstory missing, and I think it kind of mentioned that it was a sequel, but it didn't have links to the prequel, so I'm probably missing something, but interesting nonetheless. If Jacob had been hurt slightly earlier in the day, when a department doctor had been on call, he wouldn't even need to be here. He would be in the infirmary in the department headquarters. You almost regret not taking him there and patching him up yourself, but it was impossible, of course. You would have been discovered right away. Jacob looks small and pale in his hospital bed as you enter the room. His freckles pop out as against his skin, the delicate constellations. His golden blonde hair fanning out from his pillow like an angelic halo. He's sitting up in his bed, reading a book, but his eyes rise to you as you shut the door with a soft click. As you watch as he struggles to keep his composure, the tendons in his neck tightening, his pupils dilating as his body kicks into fight or flight mode. It's beautiful. This is a little fucked up. Let's go to bed. You've watched Jacob sleep in his bed at home before, of course, but he looks even more vulnerable now than he did then. Just the sight of him ignites something inside you, like you want to kiss him, or like you want to suffocate him. Watch the lights go out in his eyes. You aren't sure which. Who the fuck am I? Anyway, let's just say which. You aren't sure when you started getting such violent urges either. Maybe you always had them. Okay, so this is the same thing. Abbott, he says. So our name is Abbott. Jacob, you say politely. I brought you flowers. I don't want them, Jacob says, each word carefully and emotionless. He turns his book over, sitting it face down in the nightstand next to his bed. Your heart pounds even harder, and you tighten your grip around the bouquet. I thought they would brighten up your room. Abbott, he says, his voice strained. What do you want from me? What do I want? You blink at him. I don't understand the question. Jacob swallows again. You watch his Adam's apple bob in his throat. I mean, he says, why are you doing this? I don't understand. Why would you bring Austin back here? I didn't ask you to do that. I don't even know how you knew where Austin was. This argument again. It's all you can do to keep from rolling your eyes, to distract yourself, to take the flowers out of the full vase on the windowsill and throw them in the trash can, replacing them with your own bouquet while you talk. Oh, so we did do that. My bad. You know why I did it. You say, I love you, Jacob. I want you to be happy. I know how stressful it is for you, with Austin in Colorado, where you can't protect him. I know how much you wish he'd come home. So I arranged for him to be brought back to Havenwood. You love me? Jacob asks incredulously. I probably pronounced that wrong, my bad. You look over your shoulder at him as you arrange the bouquet in the vase. Is that so hard to believe? Abbott, he says, we hardly know each other. I don't think you know enough about me to say you love me. Don't be silly, you tell him. You finish fixing the flowers and turn around, leaning up against the windowsill. You try to meet Jacob's gaze, but he keeps sliding his eyes away from yours. Why did you come here? He asks. For an apology, you say automatically. But that isn't quite right. You wanted to come here to apologize to him, not the other way around, didn't you? Although come to think of it, Jacob was really the one who should be apologizing for how rudely he acted to you when you told him Austin was coming home, yelling at you, trying to throw you out of his office when he should have been showing you nothing but gratitude. You'd love Jacob no matter what. Of course, but you did pay a considerable amount. Wait, what? You love Jacob no matter what, of course. But you did pay a considerable amount to secure Austin an escort from Antlers to Havenwood. A thank you would have been nice. An apology? Jacob asks dumbly. Yes, you say, folding your hands together in front of you. I think you owe me one. I owe you an apology? Jacob asks. He looks more angry than afraid now, which is a shame. Anger isn't very becoming of him. Yes, I think so, you say. I don't owe you anything. Jacob tries to sit up farther in his bed, but a twinge of pain across his face, and he goes still again. I never asked you to pay a bunch of fucking mercenaries to go and get Austin. That was the point, you tell him. You hate to sound it condescending, but sometimes it really does feel like you're talking to a child who refuses to understand. When you love someone, you make nice surprises for them. You do things before they ask. They have to ask. I would never have asked you or anyone else to do that, Jacob snaps. Austin is an adult and he'll come home when he wants to. No one else has to decide that for him. But wouldn't you be happier if he was home with you, you ask? That isn't the point, Jacob says. But it's true, you would be happier if Austin was home. I would be significantly less stressed if Austin came home, he says. You can tell that he's choosing his words even more carefully than before, even though no one but you is here to hear them. But Austin would be miserable, and knowing that he was so miserable wouldn't make me happy at all. There's a lot more nuance. You can't just solve my problems by dragging Austin back here. I don't know why you couldn't have just told me that in the first place instead of yelling, you say. Maybe if you had controlled yourself a little, I wouldn't have had to attack you in the first place. Abbott, Jacob says, I'm very tired, and I would like you to leave. You check your watch. You're well under the time you allotted for your visit for Jacob, but part of you expected that this would happen, no matter. You can allot the extra free time for packing up your apartment, and you'll see Jacob again soon, after this is all blown over. He'll probably be a little more willing to see things your way once he's had some time to think. You still haven't apologized, you point out to him. I don't know what I have to be sorry for, he says. Your hands clench into fists, your nails biting the soft flesh of your palms. It would be so easy to kill him right now. To smother him with a pillow, or puncture his IV drip. You could smash his face in with a flower vase, flattening his nose, wedging the glass shards in his pale, pretty cheeks. Why? But you won't. Not unless push comes to shove. We'll give him time first to see how he overreacted, to see why you had to stab him, to teach him a lesson. He'll come around. Fine, you say, and try to mean it. That's fine. I'll see you soon, Jacob. Jacob says nothing. What did I just read? I'm pretty sure there's more to this. I'm pretty sure there's a beginning that I probably should delve into next time if I can find it. Again, link will be in the description to Thanks for Your Time if you guys want to check it out. It's just free to go through. It doesn't seem like there's alternate paths. It's just interactive story. So this just seems like this is the story and you're supposed to interact with the words. You could miss some story if you're not checking the words in between before the final choice, it seems like. But yeah, that was Thanks for Your Time. I think I need to know more about it or what was happening beforehand, but as of right now, I am very confused and I have no idea what's going on. And I don't know why this person has a lot of issues, but they need a lot of help. I feel like Abbott really needs some counseling real bad because he's got some murderous tendencies that are absolutely terrifying. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about it without knowing what else is going on. Because there might be more about it that I don't know, and I don't want to risk that and saying like the wrong thing and then being like, oh, well, it was this all along, my bad. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Again, thanks for your time. Let me know what you thought about both games, and I will see you guys in the next game that I play or the next Twine game that I read, and I'll see you guys then. So keep winning, guys.